Making bread pudding today with a beautiful whiskey cream sauce. I suggest these books from Ayn Rand. This is Read the Living, The Fountainhead, and Atlas Shrugged. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday. I'm so excited to show you a new intro. And we want to say a huge shout out to RSVL. Sorry about that, JJ. I am so excited, everyone. I hope you enjoyed my new intro. What a wonderful gift from a great friend and a great artist. And so I wanted to give a huge shout out. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's a beautiful Sunday. And we are getting closer and closer to Christmas, and I'm so excited for that. Today's theme is Joy to the World, and I am thrilled to be here with you today. So I want to start out with our wonderful, wonderful prayers, right? All right, and our scriptures today. So I asked you guys to pray for YouTube. I haven't quite signed up for that yet, but we're going to hope and pray that they play our beautiful prayers and music today. So let's get started with that. Everyone, again, happy Sunday. This is my favorite little prayer. So let's get started. Bless all the boys and girls. Let's just hope, obviously, it did not like that one. I hope you guys all know how much I love that little prayer from that little boy, especially when he's blessing the children all over the world in Jesus' name. So obviously, we're going to have a little bit of problem with YouTube. I'm going to try my best to play a few of these videos. Luckily, they're not necessarily to enhance, but I love those prayers from those kids. And if you guys want to share prayers with me from children around the world or your children, please do send those to me because I love hearing our kids sing and hearing our kids pray. So, but I also have a wonderful prayer that was given to me that I like to always start our Sunday with. And it's funny because right before I started the show, I didn't have the card and the Lord goes, go get the people ask prayer. And I'm like, I will do that. I will do that. So let's start with this. And again, like I said, this was a wonderful, beautiful prayer that was given to me. And I do say this for you every single day. So we're going to start with that. Dear Father in heaven, bless my brothers and sisters in Christ to be all they're called to be. Please bless and multiply their finances. Please bless and increase their mustard seed in faith. Please bless their homes and save their families. Please bless them to give all their cares to you. Please bless them to look for you for strength. Please bless them to see immediate change for what they are praying for. And please bless them to make you their first priority. In the beautiful name of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. I love this prayer. I love that my neighbors gave this to me. What a wonderful gift. Speaking of beautiful gifts, I've talked to you guys about this. Probably one of my favorite little things. I carry it with me all over. It's a little bookmark. I'm going to show you this. What a great, great gift for Christmas. If you guys are very talented in this, you can get this as well. I'll put this a little closer. You can see that this is a little plastic. They come in sheets and you can cut out any shape you want to. This is a beautiful gift from one of my husband's coworkers, and I just love it. What a great gift to give to your friends and loved ones is a little bookmark with the cross. Like I said, it's very beautiful. It goes right along with my prayer. I hold on to that while I say this little prayer, and I am thrilled. All right, so let's get some scriptures today. Those are already in the file or in the permanent chats below. So you guys have those, and we are going to add those to the screen right now. All right, here we go. They are Psalm 98:1. Oh, sing to the Lord a new song, for he has done marvelous things. His right hand and his holy arm have worked salvation for him. The Lord has made known of his salvation. He has revealed his righteousness in the sight of the nations. He's remembered his steadfast love and faithfulness to the house of Israel. All the ends of the earth have seen the salvation of our God. Make a joyful noise to the Lord. All the earth break forth into joyous song and sing praises. Sing praises to the Lord with the lyre and the lyre and the sound of melody. Psalms 149. Praise ye the Lord. Sing unto the Lord a new song, and praise in the congregation of saints. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Let them praise his name in the dance. Let him sing praises unto him with timbrel and harp. I love it. Joy to the world. We're going to try to play this. We're going to see what we can do, because today I was thinking a lot about dancing. There's so many wonderful arts and so many people that dance and sing praises to the Lord. And when I was thinking of joy to the Lord today as my prompt, I was thinking about dancing, and I've been sharing the 12 days of Christmas. And so today is the 9th day so we have ladies dancing, right? And so I really was prompted onto this with Joy to the World and with dancing. So let's see if I can play this. I've got a few videos. I'm just going to show you a couple moments of them, but they are great. They are great. So let's see. Hopefully we play for YouTube. They let this play, great. If not, we will just kind of move on, but or like I said, I am going to get signed up, I promise. I just haven't done that yet, but let's try this again. There we go. Okay, so it just kicked me right off. Let's try this again. Sorry, everyone. Hopefully you can see me. All right. Wow. So it just completely kicked me off. So Maybe we won't show beautiful kids. I'll put those links in the permanent chat. And I guess we are just going to skip that. I am so sorry, everyone. That just makes me really sad. But I will make sure that I will get that loaded up. Rumble's having issues. Okay. All right. It's just crazy. But again, I'll post those because I really wanted to see these beautiful kids dancing to songs like Joy of the World, Joy to the World. And they were just absolutely beautiful. And so I guess, again, YouTube's going to have some issues. Luckily, I have some beautiful videos that we are going to be sharing today. And I wanted to show you one last thing that maybe you could do for Christmas, probably one of the easiest things that you can make before we get into our cooking videos is ornaments. And these are some beautiful glittered pine cones, something that's a family tradition that I've been doing for years. And with my children and so forth, is we go and collect pine cones and then we just glitter them up, as you can see. And they just make the most beautiful ornaments that you can put in your tree. And there's a lot of fun. Kids can do this so easy. You just glue with a little bit of water in it to make it a little bit more runny, right? And you just put it all over the place and sprinkle it with glitter. And that is all you have to do, everyone. And they just help. You could do whatever color you want to. My colors this year for my tree are blue and silver. So that's why I did those. But you can make them any color, and they're so easy. And if you have pine cones in your area, sometimes you can find these at thrift stores or at the stores that they sell them, but if you have them in your area, that's what the fun was, is I've always seemed to have them in our area. Or if we go out wood cutting or something like that, I've always gathered them with the kids and we've saved them for Christmas. Sometimes we give them to neighbors. It's just a really wonderful gift to give. So I hope you guys are enjoying that. All right. I have some videos I'm going to show you, and this should be no problem because I was busy cooking, and we are going to load that up. All right. Yesterday I was doing an interview too, so that's exciting for next week, but we have a few things. All right, meatballs is going to be one of the things I do as a tradition in our family on Christmas Eve is we make fondue, cheese fondue and chocolate fondues. And so I was making meatballs not only for my husband, but just to show you guys, this is a different edition than you might be used to, but these are blue cheese meatballs. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Best of meatballs. This is something that I usually cook to go with cheese fondue on Christmas Eve. I figured, I don't know if you guys have ever made meatballs. I make them a little bit different. Some things you can add, some things you guys can do differently. But this is how I do them. I figured I would show them for you, and then we would continue. Sorry, I'm just grabbing all my ingredients over here as well. But this is my version of meatballs, everyone. All right, so what I start with here, I don't know if everyone can see, I'm going to move this over so we can see here. I have one onion that I have chopped up. I'm sorry. One onion that I have chopped up, and I have 2 cloves of garlic right here. Go right into the machine. Love my processors. We are going to start and make sure that is pureed really well. Doesn't take long. We got that nice and pureed. All right. Now we are going to add 2 eggs. This would be a great thing for those who are freezing their eggs, like I've showed you before. This is would be a really great way to use those eggs once you defrost them. But like I said before, you guys can freeze eggs. So we're going to just puree that in here. Doesn't take long. All right, I'm going to be good and measure 1 tablespoon. I might do 2. We'll see here. Yeah, I am going to do 2 tablespoons. See, I don't normally measure this stuff, so I'm being really good with you guys. 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, and we're going to put in some Dijon mustard. Make sure. Oops, I use it so much. I just use this for Caesar salad. So sorry, everyone. We're going to make sure we use 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard as it's making wonderful noises here. All right. Okay, and I always like to add in my spices, since my tablespoon is messed. I make up my own spices, something kind of like a Mrs. Dash, but I use garlic, salt, Italian seasonings. I also, or garlic powder, sorry, and Italian seasonings, and then a dash of salt, so maybe some cracked pepper, maybe some chili peppers, but you guys can make your own seasoning salts, whatever you guys like, or use a great version of an all season or Mrs. Dash. And I'm putting 1 tablespoon of that in there as well. All right, we're going to mix this up again. I like all my liquids to be done first. All right, next, we're going to be adding some shredded Parmesan, a cup of that. And then we're going to be adding a cup of, well, you can use breadcrumbs, you can use cracker crumbs, you can use potato chips. When you have a husband like mine who hates bread, I usually just fry up some potato chips or something like that and overdo them a little bit so that they get nice and dry. And then I use those for breadcrumbs. He loves potatoes a lot more than he does any bread, that's for sure. All right, something else I'm throwing in here is I love blue cheese. You guys can find, this is actually a Roquefort cheese. And I have to look at how many ounces I'm putting in here. This could be yours. So this is about 3 ounces. I'm just going to break that up. Beautiful Roquefort cheese. You can use a blue cheese. You can use a gorgonzola. If you don't like blue cheese, this is a great way to substitute something else. Maybe throw in a cheddar cheese or something like that. But I like a good blend of mozzarella and another cheese. Today we're going to do blue cheese. Voila. Then I'm throwing in my potatoes, potato chips, breadcrumbs. Like I said, a cup of those as well. Okay. Just pulse that in because I don't want that necessarily pureed. And then I have here 2 pounds of hamburger. I'm going to start with 1. We're going to pulse that in and then add the other. Just 1. Around. All right. Do the same with this. Going here. All right. Move my stuff out of the way here. Or just knock it on the ground. Either way. We'll pick that up in a minute. All right. That's our oven getting ready at 350. We are going to just transfer this into a bowl. Love the blue cheese. I mean, not too many people. I mean, I guess there's lots of people. So either you love it or you hate it. I do love blue cheese. All right, so put that here. Again, you can always substitute something else if you don't want to have blue cheese. A nice cheddar will work too. All this. All right, I'm gonna move this out of my way. Make sure this is all mixed in. And the meat's incorporated. Very nice. This looks like a nice puree. It's out of our way so we can see this. All righty. It doesn't take too long at all. I've got a nice sheet pan here. And what I usually do is my meatballs. You could do these by hand. You could do these with a spoon. It's whatever, you want to do. I've always, maybe it's good for the restaurant, but I like a nice ice cream scoop because it makes it a nice equal size, consistent size. And I just finish up rolling them up by hand and putting them here on our baking sheet. These will shrink down. That one's a little big. This is why I like to use that ice cream thing. I think I got a little too carried away with that one. All right. Just nice, evenly shaped. Makes things consistently cook evenly out. We just keep on doing this. I try not to be silent. Sorry. I hope everybody is having a beautiful Sunday. Sometimes I forget what we're just going to move these a little closer together. This is something you can make ahead of time. You can make them even mini ones if you want to as well. They will shrink down, like I said, in size. They are meatballs, right? So the juices and greases and stuff come out. But this is something you can make ahead of time and freeze if you wanted to for a party. Thinking Christmas Eve, I will be remaking those. I just thought my husband does love these, and they're a great little snack to have around, especially when you're on the go in the nursing field. He loves to have things that he can just put into some baggies and just kind of have on hand because he can't really sit down to have a lunch like most people. I guess any emergency fields would be like that, but definitely in the medical field. So he loves these. All right. We're getting there. A little bit more for that one. Something nice to have on hand too. Meatballs. You never know if you're going to be making that last minute spaghetti marinara. So have some meatballs on hand. You can always warm them up, throw them in your sauces, and go with that. Always convenient to have. We want to make a meatball sub. I would make this a little differently, right? I would not probably put the blue cheese in if I knew this is going to be dedicated to something like that. And since I know this is going to be used for something like cheese fondue, and I always do a mixture of cheeses, which I'll be showing you guys most likely on next Sunday. We'll be doing cheese fondue. I will show you because I don't have all the ingredients today for that. But since these are going to be made for like Christmas Eve and with cheese, I love to add, let's see if we can do this last one. I love to add blue cheese to it. Sure does enhance it with our cheese fondue. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to do two things at once. All right. So we have our beautiful meatballs here. We're going to go into the oven at 350. And they're probably going to take about 30 to 45 minutes. I'll let you know that exact time. I'm going to set the timer for 30 minutes, and we're going to check on it to make sure that they are done. And if they need to go a little bit longer, but when I come back on the air, I will let you know exactly how long it takes. So see you guys afterwards. Okay, our meatballs did take about 35 minutes. We just pulled them out of the oven, as you can see. They did shrink down in size some, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody enjoys. This is something that we love to do. Definitely something we make with our cheese fondue for Christmas Eve is one of our traditions. And something that, like I said, I make for my husband for him to snack on for work and just take on the go. But meatballs can be used for so many great things, and it's nice to have those on hand. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Give it a try. Let me know what you think. And if you do a different version, let me know that also too. And make sure you post pictures of the food, and especially if you do it with me, go to the artist corner and post pictures of what you guys have done. And I'd love to share that. I'll see you guys live. So I'm back, and I will have to write that recipe. Yes, I can add that absolutely to the permanent chat. A lot of these things you have to understand. I mean, I do have recipes and so forth like that, but I just do it out of, just making up out of my head. I have to go back to some of my restaurant cookbooks and look at it, but just because I've been doing it for so many years. But I was really good, and I measured things out for everyone. So I will do that. I will absolutely put that in the permanent chat. And like I said, with that cheese, you can substitute whatever cheeses you want. Same thing with like using potato chips or bread. A lot of people use breadcrumbs and crackers and stuff like that are just ground up for meatballs. My husband really does hate bread. So I don't get to make that quite often. And it's funny because the next videos are going to show you how to make a wonderful bread that I did on the Easter show. So I'm going to say, please bear with me, but it's also a holiday bread, right? It's a Sabbath bread. It's called challah bread. So I'm going to be sharing those videos next, but I will absolutely, write that down and put that recipe in the permanent chat. And I look forward to your pictures. I really do. I love it when you guys try this or share versions of this, and it just makes my day. So before we move on to let me remove that one. Before we move on to our next segment, which is again challah bread, which is an egg bread or a Sabbath bread. It's really one of my favorites. I want to make sure that we just give a huge shout out to a sponsor today. I love it. If you guys are looking for a different school, something that is bringing children back to grade levels and doing things with creativity for sure, critical thinking and retention, let me introduce you to my school. This is Hamilton Liberty Academy. All right, and we're back. Wonderful. You can always go check them out if you really want to help us out or help me out. I would love it, or help the school out. I'm just going to put this on here. I'll show you a picture if you would like, but this is a great way if you have it in your heart to help some children out. You can always go to Hamilton Liberty Academy /donations, and these children really, really appreciate it. And we've had multiple donations for like microscopes and art supplies and whatever. And we just truly thank you so much for that. They are absolutely, especially with the microscopes, that just really intrigued them. So you could go there. All right. So the next one, and I was reading the chats, right? When I have videos, I can do that a lot more. And right, I mean, it's just kind of, I look at recipes as a point of reference, and I know Eliana said the same thing. And right, and I kind of just go with it. And you make alterations as we can. And if you guys know, also, everything I get is local. I think I've said this before. I mean, when you are sick and my husband had me detox because I was paralyzed in 2020 from the waist down. I was in so much pain and I had jaundice everywhere. And the doctors were just telling me they couldn't find anything, but hey, just take all these medications for pain and just wait to die, basically. Luckily, I have a wonderful nurse as a husband, and he was able to say, let's try something different, and got me basically detoxed and put me on natural remedies, local foods. Thank heavens for our local people. I mean, from the produce to the meat and everything, it completely changed my life. And here I am today. I'm not your doctor, but I can tell you that right now, these chemicals that are we putting in the foods, my body just can't handle it and almost killed me. So I am really thrilled to live in a beautiful community, thank you God, who moved me here. And I'm able to literally shop local, from my beef and my chicken, my eggs. I have my own chickens too. And then also having wonderful produce, either I grow myself or nurseries that are around us that continue to grow wonderful produce. It just really has changed my world. So I even have, like I said, a doctor now that my husband worked with for a few years and did not like what was going on with 2020 and medications, vaccines, and so forth. But it's amazing, because even with having a little bit of high blood pressure or slightly raised cholesterol, he recommended apple cider vinegar, and I just cannot believe it. I mean, instead of a medication, let's try something natural. And I love this, and it's just completely changed. So I encourage you. What a great way to support each other is definitely go local, right? Yes, I know. So I'm looking at the tests, right? I do. I believe that too, with local providers and growers. Thank heavens for them. All right, we're getting on to the next section. And like I said, I made this bread for the show in Easter. I was kind of laughing because how different I look in just a few short months. But if it says Happy Easter, just understand that, I've already pre-recorded this video, but I really wanted to share this. There's two things I love. I love when the Lord says, I am the bread of life. And I just really so I had a show that was called that. But this is a holiday bread. And normally I make this for things like Easter and or Christmas, but it's called challah bread. And it is an egg bread. And so I had an episode about eggs. We talked a lot about eggs and raising chickens. And most people don't realize that you can freeze your eggs. And I love the silicone pans. I have a silicone like cupcake pan, and those I love. I have all different kinds of silicone pans, right? But I use the cupcake one, and I literally just crack the eggs, one in each one, and freeze them up. And then they come out like little discs, and then I just throw them into Ziplocs and vacuum seal them, and you can store them and freeze them. The only thing that you cannot do with frozen eggs, I've noticed, is that you can't use like the egg whites to whip them up into a meringue, like a whipped cream. They just don't have that ability to do that anymore. And the yolks kind of get a little weird. So you can't probably use them in like a cream sauce per se, but you can absolutely fry them up, boil them, baste them. You can use them in your recipes. And I highly encourage you to have some, eggs on hand. I love that idea because we had little foxes that took out all of my layers this summer. I mean, just all 4 of them. We had 3 little foxes in the area. I think that they lost their mama. And all of a sudden, I had no laying chickens. We got new chickens, but they're not necessarily laying yet. So I'm really thankful I had taken all these eggs and froze them. So you never know. It's always great to have a thing on hand. But I love this bread. And this is very much an egg bread. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope this is the first one. It might say Happy Easter, but this is challah bread. Good morning, everyone, and happy Easter. Welcome to Headmaster's Homeroom. This is Sunday Solutions, and I told you I'd be bringing you bread making, which I'm doing today. We're going to be making challah bread. I love it because challah bread is a classical braiding of challah, transforms everyday bread into the special one for the Sabbath. And I get that quote from this great bread book called America's Bread Book. I've used this for years. But I could get to the point where I could probably do this without the recipe, but I will be taking pictures of this book and the recipe and making sure that we share that in the show so that you can pause it, read the recipe, and go forward. I'll probably also follow some that are find some that are very similar to this and post them in the links below the show as well so that you can see a few different recipes. I love challah bread. It's one of my favorites. It's an egg bread. So we're going to be using our frozen eggs as well. And I'm real excited about that. I talked to you guys about freezing eggs. This is one of my favorite little, I guess, cupcake tins, except this one is a silicone one, as you can see. It's just really awesome. And this is great for freezing all kinds of things from broth to eggs to herbs. And then when they freeze, you just like poke them right through. And I put them in baggies and I seal them and I freeze them. So that's a really great thing to have on hand, but any kind of muffin tin or something would work for freezing eggs and stuff as well. I thought that was awesome and I really love it. So we're going to be using our frozen eggs. As you can see, they have now, make sure they're defrosted and at room temperature because you're not going to be able to blend up eggs that are frozen, right? So we're going to be using that. I'm going to switch cameras here so that you can see all of our stuff that we're doing today. And give me just 1 second to do that. All right. So you can see, let me move all this. I have all of my stuff here on the counter, right? We have our eggs. We have water here. We have yeast here. Our wonderful Be Nourished raw honey. We're going to be using in the house today. Love it. Salt. I have oil here, right? Oil here and flour here. Now, the flour I use as well is something that I go to local mills for. It was really interesting because I was told for a long time I was gluten intolerant, and I am not a doctor. Okay, I don't want to give you advice, go with what your doctor said. But as I found out, and I've spoken about this before, my body, in fact, got really, really sick in 2020, where I was pretty much wheelchair bound and found out that I was really having a problem with, the different chemicals they're putting in our foods and always have, just keep them, preservatives and whatever, all those things you can't mention. So I was told also that I was gluten intolerant. And when I went to a local mill for flour, I was able to eat flour. So again, it must be the preservatives and the chemicals they're doing to preserve these things on the shelf that my body is rejecting. So, something to ask your doctor about, something I guess you could try in the spare limited time. I still stay away from a lot of breads. Breads are not the greatest for you, as my husband will say. But as the Savior says, I am the bread of life. And he on the show Chosen, and I'll hope that I get to show you that clip when we're live, is they ask him, the little kids ask what his favorite is, and he says bread. So we're going to go with bread is wonderful. All right, everyone, let's get to making some challah bread. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I have some warm water here. The recipe calls for 2 cups. And I'm also going to add, it's asked for 2 packets of active yeast, which you could do packets. I get yeast in a bigger form, right? More of a looser form. So it's really going to be 2 tablespoons. And you just want to put those in to your warm water. We're going to move this over. Sorry, everyone. I forgot my fork. We're going to mix that in until it dissolves. The recipe also asks for sugar. I don't have sugar in my house. I use honey. You guys think that I'm crazy, but I use honey for everything. I told you I love honey, and I'm telling you, our sponsor has some of the best honey I've ever tried. But I would love it if you ordered that just even to try. You can definitely do that, and we'll run their commercial later too. But I am adding, so it calls for a 1/2 cup of sugar. I'm not doing that. I'm adding honey. I'm going to add that right to the yeast. Believe it or not, that helps activate our yeast. So we're just going to go ahead, and it dissolves in the warm water. So it's a win-win situation. Mixing that in. And the reason we start with the yeast is because the fact that it has to start fermenting, and you'll see that in activating, right? You'll see that as it starts to bubble. It takes a few minutes to do so. So we're going to move this out of our way for now. The second thing I'm going to do, depending on where you live, it might be warm enough that you can actually have the bread rise on the counter. But in Arizona, definitely, I had no problems having bread ever rise on the counter. Sorry, let me clean up my yeast. But sometimes when you're in colder places, you're like, what can I do, right? So I turn on my oven to the lowest settings. It's about 150, and we want to get that going because we're going to rise our bread in there. One second to just turn all the way down, and we're going to preheat that. When that starts getting preheated, we want to make sure that we turn it off. We want to let it cool down a little bit to more like 100 or so, and you'll be fine. And that's what I do. So, all right, we have our handy dandy mixer. You can do this by hand and make a mess. I really love my processor a lot. I've talked about that many, many times as well for multiple things, but it comes in so handy. So we have our processor here. So while the yeast is activating and our oven is rising in temperature, we are going to add our eggs right to our processor. It calls for 3 eggs right off the bat. We're just going to grab those. I'm going to grab 3. I didn't separate these. If you want to separate them, I would definitely do so before they start defrosting. But I'm going to use all these eggs here today. So I just put them in the package. I'm going to scoop them in. Move our eggs over. And we are going to, because they need to be blended, so we're going to blend those up. Voila. We're going to add, it calls for 2 teaspoons of salt. Normally, I would do this with my hand, but I'm going to be a good girl today and show you how to do this, as you would read it from the recipe. So we have our 2 teaspoons of salt. We're adding that right to our eggs. Voila. We're also going to add our oil. The recipe calls for a 1/2 cup of oil. I really love olive oil. If you don't like the taste, just use your regular oil, but I love olive oil. It's much healthier for your body. We're going to put that in there with our eggs. We're going to blend that all up together. Sorry, olive oil is taking up a lot of room. We're going to move that over. We're going to move our salt out of the way. This is out of the way too. All right. And then we're going to blend this back up again. Some tools to have on hand. This is a bread scraper. Comes in really handy because we are going to bring it here to the table. I'm going to show you how we're going to finish it. Don't worry if you don't have one of those. You can use a regular spatula, right? That will work really well because sometimes it's going to stick to our surface. And these scrapers or spatula, we're also going to flour. But as you're adding more flour and texture, it's still going to heat our oven. We're going to turn that off. Okay, see, it doesn't take very long to get to that temperature. Okay, so we're going to make sure that this is a flour surface as well. But as you're turning it and adding the flour to it and finishing it, I love to have a bread scraper or a spatula on hand. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to show you this. This doesn't take very long as well. But you can see, maybe you can't, you can see already on the top, we've got it bubbling. And sorry that you can't see that too well, but I'm going to show you that it's already bubbling at top. So we are going to add that to our egg mixture, just like that. Then we're going to blend that. Doesn't take very long to do that. And we're going to start adding our flour next. I also love to have what's called a flour sifter. That is a flour sifter. I love it. It comes in handy. I love to sift all my flour, no matter if it's, local or not. Something I prefer to do. The recipe calls for 9 cups of flour, but in the processor, I'm going to add only 4 right away. And we're going to finish this on the table. What we're going to get out of here is something that's really like slimy looking, and that's what we want. And we're going to finish it here. But I just like to incorporate these ingredients until it's like almost a batter, and then I'm going to finish it on the table. So we're going to just puree that. Like I said, you really want to have it like a batter, okay? A cake batter or something like that. Once you have that, we're going to transfer that over to the table. So I went ahead and I added another about half a cup to the mixture over here in the processor, because then I wanted it to be like a thick batter, something that's almost pliable, not a runny kind of batter consistency. And I'll show you here in just 1 minute. The flour I had already in the bag. I forgot to mention I had already, I was almost out of it, so I had already filtered it, right, with our flour here. But again, I love this, right? And you can literally just put it right on your table to make sure that your countertop or whatever you're using, table or countertop, has a decent amount of flour already on the table. We're going to remove this, and I just take a spatula, like a rubber spatula, to get it out, and you're going to see as it pours what kind of batter. See that kind of consistency? That's what we're looking for. It's a good thick batter. So if it's a little too runny before you remove it out of your processor, or you could use blender even, I'm going to make sure it's a nice consistency. If it's too runny, then it's just going to run all over your countertop, and you just don't want that to happen at all. And I'm just going to take my spatula, get that all out of there. And this is where the mess becomes. So you guys can see it's a nice kind of consistency. That's what we want. I don't want to waste this, so making sure we have all this out. There we go. All right, and we're gonna move this over our way. Move this back. Now I told you could use a regular spatula if you want to, or what's considered a bread scraper, right? And then we are just going to dust. There's 2 cups of flour in here. Remember, now we've already added 4 to 5 in the processor, and we have 9 cups to go. So this has 2 cups of flour in it. And we are just going to start dousing this really well, as you can see. Hopefully just show you that. There we go. Much better. I'm taking off my ring. And this is why I love my bread scraper. I don't have the ring all over it, but I can literally start folding in the flour with the bread scraper. See how easy that helps you? I mean, and it just starts incorporating this beautiful flour, which we want to start doing. I love the local flour. It's just so soft. It's amazing. And then once you filter it, it's even more like fluffy, like a cloud. It's wonderful. I started making bread for, well, geez, since I felt young, girl, but I really got into making bread when I had my own restaurant in Arizona for several years. It was one of the first things I would do every morning is get my ovens ready. Now we want to kind of just push on this, see how I'm doing that. Let's incorporate the flour. We've got a lot to go here. Keep turning. And just kind of push that in. We don't want to make our dough too stiff, but we don't want our dough to be too runny either. And this is really interesting because depending on where you are, depends on how much flour you're going to put in here. The recipe may say nine cups, but that might not be accurate. It might use less, it might use more. It really depends. I learned this a lot. Like I said, I had a restaurant in Arizona. Depends on the humidity and the heat. And I found that in the more humid places, I might add more. It really depends. This, so we have already added 5, let's say, cups, and then we have 2 more going here. So that's only 7, and we're already to a point that this is looking pretty good. It's still sticky, but it's looking pretty good. I don't want it too stiff, and I don't want it sticky. I want something kind of smooth. They say smooth like a baby's butt a lot, and that's kind of funny. I just don't really go around feeling baby's butts, but you know, smooth like baby skin. I guess that is more like it. And you just keep pushing. It's called kneading this in, and I'm getting a really good consistency here. Now, also remember, I had some on before, right underneath it, and on top of it. So we are definitely getting good 7 to 8 cups of flour now at the most. And the recipe called for 9. You see why we add this a little at a time? If you were just to add all that flour at once, you'd have bread that's completely ruined. So you don't want to do that. You want to add your bread a little at a time. Let the bread tell you how much flour. Let the dough tell you how much flour it needs. Okay, and we're just going to keep kneading this. So this is to the point now where we're going to knead this. And knead this, knead this. Just incorporating all the flour we have around us and keep kneading. If it feels a little sticky still, you know, you can add a little flour. If you got some little dead parts, what I call dead parts on the counter, I don't necessarily incorporate them if they're like really sticky pieces or floury pieces that feel like they're just going to cause a problem. You still just want this ball to be really soft, really uniform, and just knead the flour in well. It's a great thing for taking out aggression. When I cook with the students and we make things like this, I'm like, this is a good time. You're taking out that aggression. Everyone that's funny, they'll laugh at me. So, but it is. It's also great for working out your arms. If I made the hundreds of loaves I used to, boy, that was one heck of a workout. I'll tell you, just doing that. So you just keep on going, turning it in. See how I'm doing that? Turning it in. I go over. Oh, this has really got a great consistency. Maybe one more dusting of flour, and we are going to be at our limit. And I just keep taking the bread, folding it over, right? And pushing it in. We're literally kneading this into the bread. And this is one of the most important parts of our bread making is the kneading, because we're activating that yeast throughout the flour, right? We're getting everything in uniform. And just keep working the bread, getting it so it can rise for us really nicely. You do this, I don't know, about 5 minutes or so. Doesn't take very long. Put it all around here. I just don't want it sticking. Just kind of coat it in some flour. I don't want it sticking to the countertop. Okay, and voila, you have your bread. So what do I do with this next? So a great thing, just FYI, if you've got stickiness on your hands, I don't know if you knew that, you can put a little flour on your hands, rub them together over the garbage, and most of that comes right off. It's a great thing to do for the utensils you're using too, so it doesn't go down the drain. I have a strainer on my drain as well, but it's great for getting particles off. I'll do that more, but I'm going to show you what we do next. Now, we're going to put into a bowl. I have my bowl here. There's many ways that you can prepare this bowl. You can put oil in here and just coat it with oil. You can put butter in here and kind of coat it with butter. You can use oil and flour. I really like using oil. You can even use a pan spray, which I don't use often, but I do have it here, right? You can spray the bowl. But I like putting a little bit of oil inside. So maybe a teaspoon, just a couple of drops there. So maybe a teaspoon. You can use a napkin. Like I said, there's a reason I didn't clean my hands. I'm going to coat. You can see I'm going to just coat this bowl. Right? Just coat the bowl using my hands. Getting that oil all around. Right? And we're going to put our bread right in it. Cover it with plastic wrap. Voila, the plastic wrap here. Sorry, that's got to be in the way. So here we can see how I'm putting that right on the top. Put a couple of them. I don't put it too tight. I just cover it. This is not something, you know, that you wear in the fridge. You just kind of want this loose. Okay. And I'm going to put it in that oven. Now that oven's about 100 degrees now. And I can stick it in there. It's going to take about an hour, hour and a half to rise. So let me show you one thing before I come back on camera here. Another wonderful reason of having a bread scraper. I'm going to put our flour sifter in the flour. So if you can see this, now your spatula will do the same thing. And I don't know if your countertops will let you do this. Mine does this. Your table, I don't know if you have a wood table, maybe not the greatest thing to do, but this is usually not going to harm it. You can use a spatula. See, it's the same thing, just to pick up all that. I just love my bread scraper. It works so much faster, and voila, into our recycle. By the way, remember we do compost. You put that right into the compost bucket. Voila, as I'm doing. I told you I have a bucket near me all the time. And then you can, of course, take a cloth and clean up the rest of this. So let me switch cameras again. All right, I'm back. Okay, how can... I know, hopefully you guys can hear me. I don't know why it's... Okay, I know you guys can hear me. I don't know why it's acting up. Let me remove this. And maybe it will let me... I don't know why it won't show me. Oh boy, we're having major problems today, aren't we? All right, let's see why it won't show me. I don't know why. Let's add this to the stage. I know you guys can hear me, but I don't know why it will not show me. Huh. Interesting. Okay, we're going to load the second video. Actually, and it won't even let me do that. Weird. Okay, we're having issues today. And I don't know why. Give me 1 second. It won't even let me add anything to here. So I don't know. Give me 1 second, everyone. There we are. Sorry, we're having major technical difficulties today. I don't know if it's the storm. I don't know if it's Rumble. I don't know if it's StreamYard. But we are going to try to load the video 2 and see if we could do this. Thank you guys for bearing with me. All right, here is the video 2. This is a 4-part video with bread. You have to understand because it takes time to rise, and you have to rise it twice. So hopefully this one will play for you. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to part 2. Our bread has risen now, and I just want to show you it's doubled in size, right? And filled our bowl quite nicely. I am going to switch cameras so that you can see what we're going to do next in our process here for challah bread. Give me 1 second to do that. There we go. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is you see that we have our counter. We're going to take our sifter of flour and we're going to put that right, make sure that our bread doesn't stick to our counter. One has to understand it's early in the morning. So I'm happy to be here, right? Making bread, one of the best things. And you can see it now, our bread is here. It's supposed to make 2 loaves. So the first thing we're going to do is we're literally just going to take another reason I love our bread spatula and bread scrapers. It also just helps divide that into 2. I'm going to move this one over. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is just lightly dust it, okay? Because we need to knead this again. Not as long as before, but we're going to take all that air out of it, and we're just going to knead this here. Same thing. Knead it for a minute here. All right, we're going to do the same thing with the other one. Whoops, lightly dust it. There we go. It's going to be a little sticky, not much. That's why I said lightly dust it. We're just going to knead that for about a minute here, getting those air bubbles out of it. It's going to have a lot of air in it. Round that off and put it over there. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we have to get this set up for braiding. So the braiding, and that's why I'm going to take pictures of this. I'll probably show you the beginning of, before I show these videos on my live show tomorrow, is we're going to have to put this, and it has an actual picture diagram of how you do the braiding step. That's why I want to include the pictures. This is a great book. And so you want to cut this into 8 strips. I think that, well, you could do 8. I was just thinking maybe I want to do, let's see, 4. See, these are pretty small. I don't know. So we're going to do 4 instead of 8. You can do 8. If I was going to do both these together, I would do 8, and it'd be a very big loaf of bread. But this just doesn't look like it's going to be big enough. Let's see. Maybe. We're going to try it. Okay. 2. Dividing those into 8. Like I said, it looks really small for 8, but all right. What we want to do is we're going to lightly just, because we've cut into the middle of this, add a little bit more flour so things aren't sticking. We're going to roll these into long strips. So make sure none of these are sticking on the table. All right. And try to make them about the same size. So just literally kind of just roll them out as long as you can. It'll be almost like a pencil by the time we're done. Just kind of start in the middle, working that out. See? I can smooth that over. A little bit thicker than a pencil, of course, but I think you guys understand what I mean. Just getting a long breadstick kind of thing, or okay. Continue going, put the next one over here. That's thick. We're just gonna continue doing this. I guess what? 8 worked out better than I thought, and I doubted the recipe. Sometimes I do that. And I learned just as much. Like, that looks really small, but you know what? It's a little thicker, which I was kind of concerned about that. Again, we're just going to roll that out. Beautiful. All right. Almost there. These two end ones, I don't cut these quite even. Make sure when you're cutting your pieces that they're as even as possible. And that's been my doubt right there, because I have these two end pieces that are much smaller. I guess are obviously going to be a thinner strip here than the others. That will work out okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. It'll be all good. See, they just came out a little thinner. That's all right. Just keep working them out. We do it some new so we can see what I'm doing here. Get a little flower here. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right, so you want to make sure you have 4 going one way. Like this. And I'm going to make sure these 2 little ones go, or thinner ones go in the middle. We'll put thicker ones on this side as well, so we have them going in this different direction. Okay, so the thing we're going to do is we're going to gather them all at the top here. You can see that, just kind of pinching them together. And then what I do after that is I just kind of tuck that under. And we just kind of keep these separate, just like doing a French braid or right around hair. All right, and what we do is we crisscross them like that. Then we take the next one over and take the next one over like this. Just bringing these outside braids in, or outside strips in. We're just braiding this beautiful thread. All right. And bringing them in like this. And then continuing. Try to scoop it up for everybody. Looks like a big old octopus here. And we continue doing that. So we start again. So let's see. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So here we go. And over, 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 over. Okay. And continuing to do that until we run out of bread. See how we're doing that. Kind of like this. like this. And we're going to tuck that all in. We have this beautiful braid just pinching our ends together. Okay, that's what we do. We have this really beautiful braided bread now, if everybody can see. This, so right, and we're gonna move that over to our pan. I have pre-oiled, ready to go because this needs to rise again. So I'm gonna pick that up, put it right here on our pan, kind of tuck it all in. You see, that's our first one. All right. Then we're going to repeat the process because we're making 2 loaves, right? So again, we're going to let that rise. I'm going to try to load the next video in. Let's see if I can do that. I don't know if he'll let me do that. Hold on 1 second and we'll load the next video. Mercy, I'm having issues today. All right, let's go to video 3. And now that our loaves have been braided and we will get to see them rise. All right, I'm going to add that right now. Okay, here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to part 3. This is going to be a super quick one. And so the other one, because we are going to be cooking our bread now, but I wanted to show you what it looked like. So let me switch cameras. This is our bread. As you can see, it's rised, double the width. Look at how beautiful this looks. And we have preheated our oven to 350. And you are going to cook your bread. Let's see what the book says. I think it's 20 minutes. Nope, it says bake 30 minutes. All right, so bake 30 minutes. I'm just reading to see if I missed anything. It does say here that if you wish your loaves to be a very dark brown, they have a thing on here. You can add seeds to it if you want to. But then you want to bake 20 minutes and brush again with the glaze. Seeds then may be sprinkled on and return the loaves to oven to bake 10 minutes more. So instead of 30 minutes, you would do it 20 minutes. You would brush it with an egg base, and then you would sprinkle seeds on it if you wanted to do some kind of poppy seeds or sesame seeds on top, which I am not going to do. And then 10 minutes more. So we're going to just cook it for the full 30 minutes. Again, my oven is preheated to 350. I'm going to pop these in the oven. Just like that, voila. Set our timer. All right, let's put this back on me. We've set our timer. Okay, now that we set the timer for that, we are going to add video 4, which is basically going to show you just our fresh bread finished. This is just one of the most beautiful and yummy breads I ever have. I love fresh baked bread. And it seems like it's better if I just kind of stay in the picture here, so it doesn't kick me out. So this is the last part. You guys can see my cat having a great time behind me. All right, here we go. Our fresh baked bread. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to part 4. Our bread is done and absolutely looks beautiful. So I hope that you guys are able to create the same thing, and if it doesn't look quite the same, I hope it still turns out really great. Keep trying. Keep trying, definitely, for sure. Let me switch cameras here. And this is our wonderful baked bread. It still just came out of the oven. I'm going to show you beautiful this looks and how it smells so good. It smells so good. This is our second one. Oops, let's just switch this so everyone can see this one. And they're absolutely beautiful. Comes out quite nice, even if it braids perfect. This has this beautiful look to it. So that is the end of our. So just like I said, even if your braids aren't perfect, that's all right. This is just a really wonderful, soft, yummy bread, and I just absolutely love it. It's a great one for holidays. It's a great one to just remember because it's called the Sabbath bread, and I will make sure that I get that recipe typed up or whatever and put it in the permanent chats as well. I am so thrilled that you guys spent some time here with me and bared with me. I don't know what in the world all of these issues are, today. It could be the rain, could be, screaming, it could be rumble. I don't know. But thank you so much because it has tried so hard to kick me out, of this. I've had to come back in. Luckily, it doesn't stop the show. But we're going to, we got some great things lined up, everyone, for this next week. So we have, I just taped it yesterday. I've got all the way through January, by the way, just booked with great, amazing guests for you on Friday night. So if you guys want to join me on Friday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that's usually when I meet with our guests and celebrate people around the nation doing wonderful things, from arts to authors to doing things in their community to, dancers, musicians, whatever. I love to celebrate you guys. It's just an absolute joy. I love to have the artist of the week as well that we get to highlight. So if you guys don't know, you can always find me on True Social and Facebook at Lady Hamilton Art, Twitter at Lady Hamilton AR1. And I am going to make sure that we are highlighting that. We will show you more Christmas trees, stockings, socks, ornaments, cookies, whatever you guys are doing. Thank you for sharing those with me too. But the one who started that challenge was Mystic Goose. We're going to say hello to her. And she is our guest next Friday. I had a wonderful time interviewing her yesterday, and I can't wait to share that interview with you guys. Like I said, coming up this Friday, right before Christmas, and celebrating you guys and your wonderful talents. It is really, truly an honor. So everybody say a little prayer for our closing song. We'll hope that YouTube lets it play. That would be really wonderful. I love songs of the Lord. This is really special to have Sunday shows, and we'll hopefully get that remedied here soon. And I hope you guys are liking the new look and theme to my opening and closing as well. Thank you so much for being with me here today. Please reach out. Right, pesky text. I know those text people drive me nuts, but we still hold on. We still pursue through, and we still stay strong. And like, they can't necessarily take me down. They can only just take down the music I'm listening to, but I'm working on that. And I love that you guys came out here to visit me today. I hope you guys enjoyed the food recipes and cooking today. I hope you guys try that. Let me know. Again, thank you for the reminders. I'll get those recipes in the permanent chats and maybe even share them out on my social medias. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday. I will see you Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right as we continue to celebrate our wonderful guests. And I thank you so much for being here today. Don't forget, please, to like, follow, share. And if you have a heart, subscribe, have a heart that you can. I understand it's tough for everybody. I'd love to have some subscribers as well. But a huge shout out to my great friends that are joining me here today. And a wonderful shout out to JJ for the beautiful new intro and exiting video for me. It really did make my day, and I'm extremely grateful. I'm extremely grateful for all of you that come here today. My heart's with you. I pray for you. I love you, and I hope you guys are having the most wonderful season. Enjoy your Sunday, and I will see you guys Friday.
To the world come, let earth to see heaven and day.
Sorry, we're going to try this again. I want a beautiful song here, so let's try it again. Nope, it will not do it. I am sorry. I was playing the most beautiful rendition of Joy to the World, and it just won't have it. I guess, like I said, I'm going to have to totally sign up for YouTube. I know I need to so I can play music. But you guys, if you could please just think of the wonderful, beautiful song, Joy to the World. That is our theme today. And we are going to just close with, I guess we're going to highlight my wonderful intro and exit. Thank you so much, everyone, for being with me today. And I will see you Friday. Be blessed. Making bread pudding today with a beautiful whiskey cream sauce. I highly suggest these books from Ayn Rand. This is Read the Living, The Fountainhead, and Atlas Shrugged.